Friends, gather round and let's talk tariffs. Specifically, the trade war generously kickstarted by President Trump. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, tariffs. That sounds about as thrilling as watching paint dry on C-SPAN. And you'd be right, on a normal day. But these weren't your grandma's politely worded trade disagreements. Oh no, this was a full-blown tariff-slinging showdown. Trump, in a move that surprised absolutely no one familiar with his negotiating style, slapped hefty tariffs on goods from China, Canada, and Mexico. His reasoning? A potent cocktail of protecting American jobs, reducing the trade deficit, and because, well, he could. The year was 2018, and thus began the era of trade war anxiety, a feeling as pleasant as heartburn after a bucket of chicken wings. These tariffs, my friends, weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about taxes on goods, making everything from washing machines to steel more expensive. And who ultimately pays the price? You guessed it. Consumers, businesses, and anyone who enjoys a good night's sleep without the existential dread of a global trade meltdown. So there you have it. The stage was set, the tariffs were flying, and the world held its breath. Would this be the start of a beautiful trade partnership, as Trump so confidently proclaimed? Spoiler alert, not so much. Buckle up, folks, because in the next section, China throws a retaliatory punch that would make a kung fu master proud. China, in the face of Trump's tariff onslaught, did what any self-respecting economic powerhouse would do. They retaliated, and they didn't just politely decline the invitation to a trade war, they sent back a whole RSVP card filled with counter-tariffs. We're talking tariffs on soybeans, cars, and a whole host of other American goods. See, China wasn't about to take this tariff tango lying down. They strategically targeted industries and products that would hit Trump where it hurts, politically. States that heavily relied on exporting these goods to China, many of which had voted for Trump, started feeling the pinch. Farmers, in particular, found themselves caught in the crossfire, their livelihoods hanging in the balance. This tit-for-tat tariff exchange wasn't just some abstract economic theory playing out on Wall Street trading floors. It was real-life drama with real-life consequences, impacting businesses, farmers, and everyday consumers on both sides of the Pacific. The trade war was officially on, and it was messy. But hold on to your hats, folks, because we're not done yet. Canada and Mexico, those friendly neighbors to the north and south, were about to show the world that they weren't just going to stand idly by while the tariff storm raged. Stay tuned for the next exciting installment of Trade Wars: The Tariff Strikes Back. Canada and Mexico, those paragons of politeness and maple syrup, weren't exactly thrilled about being dragged into this trade war. But as the saying goes, if you're going to be forced into a tariff tango, you might as well learn a few steps. And learn they did. Canada, in a move that could only be described as passive-aggressively polite, retaliated with tariffs of their own. Steel, aluminum, ketchup, you name it, they slapped a tariff on it. Mexico, not to be outdone, followed suit, targeting American agricultural products like pork and cheese. The message was clear. Don't mess with NAFTA or its successors. These weren't empty threats. The tariffs imposed by Canada and Mexico were carefully calibrated to inflict maximum economic and political pain. The trade war had officially gone trilateral, and things were about to get even more complicated. The global economy watched with bated breath, wondering who would blink first in this high-stakes game of tariff chicken. So, what was the ultimate outcome of this tariff-fueled trade war? Well, like a Michael Bay film, it was loud, chaotic, and left a lot of collateral damage. Economies on all sides took a hit. Businesses faced uncertainty, consumers felt the pinch of rising prices, and the global trading system experienced turbulence it's still recovering from. China's economy, while still a powerhouse, experienced slower growth. The U.S. agricultural industry, once a reliable exporter, reeled from the impact of Chinese counter-tariffs. And Canada and Mexico, though they held their own, also felt the strain of disrupted supply chains and market instability. The trade war, while eventually simmering down somewhat, highlighted the interconnectedness of the global economy and the potential for significant disruption when trade partners decide to settle their differences with tariffs. It also underscored the need for more predictable and rules-based trade policies. Because, frankly, the world has had enough excitement for one decade.